Hey, what we having this evening, girl, Lou?
Boy, I'm making one a man bake.
One a man?
Yeah.
Gee whiz, that's a big fella to handle this evening, you know. What going with that? Eggs?
No man. It's a nice kingfish. Fried kingfish.
Mm-mm-mm. Nice, man. Nice.
Special, man. So what are you doing? Reading this evening?
I think so, girl. I think I better take a little reading. But do a little reading for them. Yesterday, you know, when Faz came, we decided to do a little video. After we heard that your mother had passed away, you know,
Right.
61 years ago on yesterday's date.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it best that we do something about mothers, you know. And Faz was well cooperative, eh?
Yeah, man. She like the limelight, right?
She ain't like the limelight, but
But she filled in nicely.
oh gosh. Let me move this hand there. I want you to knock this on yourself. This is hot oil, you know. Nice going, man. Nice going. I like the sizzling sound you like. Sound of that? What do you call it? Anything on this one?
That's the bake.
Oh, okay. This one then. Go on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hot, really. This is
Yeah, of course.
Well, Luis, I think I better get cracking on my reading.
Go right ahead. Let me trouble you at all.
Ah,
I
yeah.
didn't trouble you when it's time for eating.
All right. Well, let me see something. I think I'm going to read from Jewels in the Caribbean.
Yeah?
Asana and granddaughter by. I want to read something called Sweet Hand, Louise.
Okay. You got it. You know what? You worried about me, boy. I'm making my sweet hand.
Wait a minute. You done throwing the one a man already?
Yeah. This one man, however, I try to make it a little healthier than normal. So instead of using just pure white flour, I put to 2 cups of flour, I put a half cup of whole wheat flour.
Very good. Yeah, that's good, man. Excellent. That's a good one. What were you drinking with that?
Cocoa, the real McCoy.
That what Faz bought yesterday?
Yes, man.
Okay, great, man. Great.
But where put it in the cupboard?
Yeah. Want to take it out?
Yes. So when I'm ready for it, I have to be saying, Nancy, ready cocoa.
Okay, Faz girl. Here he is. Cocoa sticks, boy. Very nice. Louis, this fried and this fish and thing, it's disturbing me reading, you know.
What?
Because I end up following you rather than going to the pages.
Now you mind your business, I mind mine.
Alright. Now here what happened. While you're doing that, I will start reading, right? I'm reading the first story in Jewels of the Caribbean. And it's called Sweet Hand.
Okay.
It was written by Vashti Bola. And this book was published in 2014. So let's see if we can get into some of these pages here, right?
Go right ahead, darling.
She was known as the lady with the sweet hand. The lady who could make the best fudge and sugar cake in the whole of Cedar Village. Everyone lovingly called her Tanty Mona. The students of Cedar Village Primary School gathered around her every morning, recess and lunchtime, to purchase her homemade sweets. Even Miss Jennifer, the Standard 1 teacher, could not resist.
Well, that is amazing.
Huh?
That you're going to read about sweet hand. And here, I have all these lovely things
Hey,
that
they fast brought this.
yes, fast brought that yesterday.
Well, look at that.
So maybe that inspired you to read that story or what?
Well, look at that. This is barfi,
Barfi and ladu.
ladu. And what's this one here? Sweet rice.
Yeah, boy, that thing tastes good.
You having some?
Yeah,
You're gonna have some?
I have some already.
Faz, thanks again, once again. Thank you very much for your care and your kindness, for the things you brought.
So sweet,
Very lovely, very
so
lovely.
loving and kind.
Yeah, boy.
You remind me of my mother.
Yes,
Many
indeed.
kind people around the place, you know, very many kind people.
This is where I'm going.
Look at this landslide.
Yes, sir.
One on one, you know.
You mean there's only one I get in? Hey, let me go back to this story. Yeah, distracting me, man. You're distracting me. I thought I could sit down here and keep you company, but Roy, sweet hand, thank you very much, Faz. I just make sweet rice, you know.
Well, first got to get out of the kitchen, but I never knew that.
Oh, gosh, boy. I can't flip camera like a Santa, you know. I really can't flip camera like a Santa. Let me go back there, right? Even Miss Jennifer, the standard one teacher, could not resist. You should make and sell these outside of school so everybody can enjoy them. They are so delicious, said Miss Jennifer, sinking her teeth into the grated coconut delicacy. When I tried your recipe, my sugar cakes didn't turn out anything like this, and my husband made fun of me. He said our kids could use them to play cricket or scooch. Now, boy, I ain't think so now, boy. He's braver than me. Just keep trying until you get it right, and you go stop laughing. You think I learned just so? It's plenty times I tried before they come out good, and it's years and years now I'm making them. Tanty Mona noticed the young girl from Miss Jennifer's class. She had bought 5 cents worth of mango amchar earlier to have with her corner sada roti for lunch. She stopped by the other vendor and bought a pack of candy. Hold on 1 minute, please, folks. A pack of candy cigarettes. Hey, you remember that noise? Candy cigarettes?
Yeah.
3 boys followed her. The one holding the cricket bat tugged at the white ribbons adorning her 2 ponytails on either side of her head, giggling as they ran off. The bell rang just then to signal the end of the lunch break. Girls in their blue pleated skirts and white shirts abandoned their games of hopscotch and moral, while boys with their dirt-stained shirts and khaki pants ran from the playing field towards their classrooms. That sounds like a real something you know, girl?
That's all like the Dhaka government.
Carcass government school, boy.
We had a lady used to sell sugar cake. Penny for a sugar cake, you know. Bake sugar cake like my hand, you know, for penny and see. Now a little sugar cake quarter like that is $10 anymore.
Right.
Not even the big. But this sugar cake, and you see now that's how they make them pretty with pink coloring and green coloring and white coloring. That was the brown sugar cake, brown sugar,
Right.
and the great sugar cake, when it's finished, cook it come out brown. Oh gosh, that sugar cake was nice. But you don't see that again, you know. That was a long time recipe, boy.
But not even Tobago. Tobago to make them.
I never, you always have the color.
Okay. Once you keep making them, I wouldn't have to try again, Miss Jennifer laughed, turning her attention to the young girl who had now stopped at Tanty Mona's table. Hurry up, Annie. Time for class. Tanty Mona wrapped the last sugar cake in a piece of brown paper after shaking the glass jar to ensure she got all the extra bits and pieces. The girl sneezed and Tanty Mona handed her a napkin to wipe her nose. Annie sneezed again as she gave Tanty Mona her coin. Her face lighting up as she slipped the sugar cake into her side pocket and hurried off. Now that everyone had returned to their classrooms, Tanty Mona attended to the items on a small wooden table, which was covered with a piece of white plastic, printed with bouquets of red roses. She removed the remaining biscuits and confectionery from the glass display case and wiped the two inside shells with a damp cloth. She noticed some stains on the top outer corner and rubbed the area in a circular motion until they disappeared. She tightened all the lids and wiped the glass jars which held favorites like preserved mangoes, salt prunes, lollipops, and tamarind balls. An older student was saving the tamarind seed so her mother could sew her a bean bag. Remember that, Louise? Bean bags?
Yeah.
She then draped a white mosquito net she had altered to cover everything on the table until the sound of the next bell signaled the end of the school day. That's when she would make her day's final sales and return home. Tanty Mona took the plastic container out of the brown paper bag she kept nearby and moved a wooden stool closer to the building to rest her back against the wall. She felt Mrs. Janke's stare piercing through her while she ate her lunch. Only 2 vendors were permitted on the school's compound, one on each end of the side wall closer to the main entrance. Tanty Mona had been vending at Cedar Village Primary School for the past 12 years after losing her husband.
So that was a permanent spot?
Yes, you could say that. They were going to Metro Cinema at Harris Promenade on their 21st anniversary to see a new Indian movie starring Dharmendra, and were knocked down by an oncoming vehicle that ran off the road and onto the pavement. She had suffered a broken leg, but he never made it. Oh yes, Teresa. You sure they make cookies there, girl?
Chocolate cookies?
Yeah, they look like overgrown chocolate cookies.
Chocolate cookies, lad, so you know you must harass me. But I can take it.
Mrs. Janke started vending only a year ago after the previous vendor died of a sudden heart attack. Tanty Mona had become very good friends with Mrs. Foster since they met on that first day of the school term over a decade ago. Mrs. Foster was only 7 years older and never complained about any kind of illness before. Tanty Mona was very sad when she heard that she had passed away at the tender age of 58. I see you had a busy day as usual.
My mother was 38, boy, last year.
Yeah, your mother died at the age of 38, eh?
Tender, very young.
But that's even more tender, eh?
Yeah.
I see you had a busy day as usual, remarked Mrs. Janke, lifting her voice while refilling a jar with candy cigarettes. It wasn't too bad, replied Tanty Mona. And for you too, I sure. Nah, them children and them only like to buy from you, was the reply. Tanty Mona never grew as close to Miss Janke as she had been with Mrs. Foster. All she knew from their brief conversation was that she was 49 years old, with 6 children, and belonged to the far end of the village. Her husband dropped her to school in a blue Cortina and returned for her at the end of the school day. Mrs. Janke always asked where she bought her sweets and how much she paid for them. When she told her that she had made most of them, she asked if she could taste the hand, reaching into her jars without waiting for permission. You follow the story a bit?
Yeah.
Tanty Mona always liked to try something new, much to the children's delight, and Mrs. Janke always followed. Followed suit then. Whatever she made, the lady liked to follow, you see. This is heading in a competitive strain now, eh?
Okay.
One Friday she made coconut ice block and Mrs. Janke did the same.
So Miss Janky is another
vendor.
vendor,
Yeah.
not the teacher.
No. When she sold her lollipops and chewing gum in the center, she also did the same. Remember that? Lollipop and chewing gum in the center, yes. And when Tanty Mona started selling wonder bags with a surprise toy inside, so did she.
What?
Competition, boy. Tanty Mona planned to bring a jar of pickled green plums the next day as a Friday treat.
Ground bay leaf, I put it in the cocoa, you know, boy.
You see that?
Ground bay leaf.
Very good, very good. I know it's going to taste good. She had monitored the plums in her backyard until they were just right and had picked them herself 2 days ago with a bamboo rod. Her pickled green plums were a hit the next day. The children had spread the word by recess and all was sold out. She promised the other kids that she would bring another jar the next week as well as a jar of pickled green pomsiter, which she knew they would enjoy just as much. That fish looking real good, boy. Wow. And that's how going to Tanty Mona. You graduate now from sweet stuff.
Savory.
Shortly after the lunch break, while classes were in session, Tanty Mona caught a glimpse of Miss Jennifer helping little Annie into her Datsun 120Y and hurriedly driving out of the school compound. She wondered whether Annie was okay because she was holding her tummy. Mrs. Janky appeared in front of her. I hear Annie was feeling sick since she ate your plums this morning. I wonder if she get gastro. My plums? Gastro? Tanty Mona was confused. You sure? Because I don't understand. I just take extra care when I'm making anything to sell and just always keep everything clean. Well, I just saying what I hear because that is a serious thing. So I don't know what the principal will do about it. But plenty children buy plums today, and how come nobody else gets sick? Mrs. Janky paused, then replied, just because we didn't hear nothing don't mean that nobody else gets sick. But I did hear some children saying how 2 boys was vomiting in the back of the school, so you never know what go happen by later. For you. Tanty Mona lowered her head and pressed her fingers to her eyes, her vision blurred by a fine mist of tears. I selling here for so long and nothing like this ever happened. I could never live with myself if any of them children get sick because of me. Me myself. That is why I don't make all kind of things and bring from home, because I don't want nobody children. I don't want nobody children, oh my goodness, to get sick. But don't worry, we will just have to wait and find out what happened. Tanty Mona thought about it some more, and a weak smile began on the corners of her lips. She rose from her stool and asked Mrs. Janky to keep an eye on her table. Where you going? What you going to do? She threw after her, but Tanty Mona did not look back. She proceeded to the front of the building, gripping the rails as she climbed the flight of stairs one step at a time, pausing at regular intervals to rest her legs and catch her breath. She eventually reached the top and looked around for the principal's office, suddenly realizing it was the first time she had ever climbed those stairs. The secretary met her at the doorway and informed her that the principal had left to attend a meeting and would not be back for the rest of the day, but she could meet her on Monday. A disappointed Tanty Mona thanked her and navigated her way to the bottom of the stairs. All the while she was engulfed with a deep feeling of guilt and confusion over what had happened to Annie. The final bell rang and within minutes children were pouring out of their classrooms, but there was still no sign of Miss Jennifer or Annie by the time she had packed up to leave. No one else seemed to know anything. Tanty Mona did not return to school on Monday. The next evening she walked through the village to meet Mrs. Foster's grandson so she could inquire about Annie. But since they were not in the same class, all he could say was that he saw her in school that day and she seemed okay. It was enough to bring some relief to Tanty Mona, but after careful thought, she decided it was best not to continue vending at the school. A little intermission, please, folks. I want to try some of this. I don't think that Tanty Mona made this in her day. Maybe she did.
Last one, you know, thing with some milk.
I didn't give.
Cocoa tea, you know, Nancy. As they call
How
it.
is it?
Cocoa tea.
That's good, right?
Good.
What's your face?
Cocoa tea.
Cocoa tea.
Fried bake. And fried fish.
And fried fish. And some sweet stuff for sweet mouth. I like the Bafri boy.
You always do.
Okay. 3 weeks had gone by when Tanty Mona heard the sound of a car horn at just after noon and looked through her kitchen window to see a car pulling into her dirt yard. She recognized Miss Jennifer's Datsun and saw that the principal was also exiting from the passenger seat. Several thoughts danced around in her mind. Was Annie really okay? Had any other children fallen in? Were they now investigating her? Tanty Mona prepared for the worst. The two women were now approaching her front door, so she put on a brave face. She greeted them still wearing her apron and hair tie, accompanied with a warm smile. "We are so glad to find you home," Miss Jennifer looked her up and down. "Are we disturbing you from something? Or you're always welcome by me." She held the door open, inviting them in with a sweep of her hand. "But excuse the place, it's real messy. Or you sit down here, and I'm coming back just now. I go in and take off the stove." She returned to the living room.
Nancy, your hot cup of cocoa.
Oh gosh, boy, that's looking smashing.
And that is the real cocoa, eh?
Take it out of the bag. I need to look at that. What's this? Homemade cocoa sticks.
NG's.
NG's. Smells good, mate. Louise, let me just finish off the story, please. "Are you always welcome by me?" She held the door open, invited them in with a sweep of her hand. "But excuse the place, it's real messy. Sit down here, and I'm coming back just now. I go in and take off the stove." She returned to the living room a few minutes later with a glass of bourbon in each hand, minus her apron. It's homemade. She placed the glasses on the center table before sinking into the seat opposite them. "I'm surprised to see all you here. Everything okay? We came to see if you were okay because we haven't seen you for a while. We even dropped by last week and you weren't home, so we were worried." Wow, can I finish the story? Oh yes, not too far to go. Tanty Mona lowered her eyes. "I feel really bad after what happened to Annie, so I said it was better if I didn't go back." Wow, mommy. You could go by that school and sell bake?
No.
Huh? No? You'll have to get
I used to sell fudge in school, you know.
Fudge?
Sweet hand, fudge. Coconut fudge.
Eh?
Yeah,
I already had to start calling you Tanty Mona. Right? "Annie, what happened?" Miss Jennifer's eyes darted from Tanty Mona to the principal, wearing a look of concern. "Annie? Sorry, I misread that." Tanty Mona lowered her eyes. "I feel really bad after what happened to Annie, so I said it was better if I didn't go back." "Annie? What happened?" Miss Jennifer's eyes darted from Tanty Mona to the principal, wearing a look of concern. "I thought that is all what you come for." "No, so you'll have to explain," said Miss Jennifer. "You can remember last Friday when I was in school, and Annie gets sick when she eats the plums that they bring to sell?" The principal leaned closer. "It's the first time we're hearing this. Is that why you didn't come back?" The secretary said you came to the office to see me that day, and she told you to come back on Monday, but you never came. Well, I see when Miss Jennifer was taking Annie to the health center, and Miss Jennifer held up both palms in front of her. Okay, you need to start at the beginning so we can make some sense of this. Tanty Mona explained everything that happened that day, how devastated she was. She confessed that she didn't go back because she was worried about what they would think of her after she had been selling at the school for so many years. Miss Jennifer rose and sat next to her, extending an arm around her shoulders. She went on to explain that Annie started vomiting, so she had to rush her home, but it had nothing to do with her plums. Annie's mother told her that she wanted to keep her from school that day because she was coming down with the flu, but she didn't want to miss the art and craft project they were doing in class. She, excuse me. She guessed that Mrs. Janke must have used the opportunity to her advantage, knowing what a kind and trusting woman she was. We are sorry you went through all of this without telling us anything, said the principal. I even asked Miss Janke if you had mentioned anything to her. She said you had some personal stuff to take care of, added Miss Jennifer. Tanty Mona was crushed that Mrs. Janke had misled her so easily and could not imagine why she would have done so. She had even offered her a lift home that afternoon when her husband had come to pick her up. Now that we have cleared up all this, we hope you'll come back because we are not the only ones who miss you and your sweets. My entire class demanded that we bring you back, said Miss Jennifer. So we might have a riot if you don't. Tanty Mona went on to explain that she had just started selling her sweets at the weekend market, and a few parlors and shop owners in the area had also offered to sell them. She was surprised to receive some repeat orders, which she had been preparing in her kitchen. Her granddaughter had been helping her after school to parcel the fudge, sugar cake and nut cake, and paste on the Tanty Mona's sweet hand labels on them. She said it gonna look more official. She gave a toothy grin, but it's Miss Jennifer I have to thank for that idea. Hang on then, Louise, we're almost through. One last page. Miss Jennifer was pleased. I need to catch you there now. Miss Jennifer was pleased. I told her they were the best. We are happy for you, but we really would like you to come back. The principal gave a supportive smile. It's your decision, so you could think about it if you like. Tanty Mona didn't have to give it much further thought after reading the disappointment on their faces. You know what? I go have plenty time to make my sweets after school and still sell in the market on weekends. So I go come back from the following week when I buy up some things. Their relief was evident. She returned to school early that Monday morning to the exact spot where she had spent the last 12 years. She cleaned and packaged her display case and filled her glass jars with homemade sweets and a variety of snacks. She could hardly wait to see the excitement in the children's faces when they saw the new bubblegum trading cards with pictures of their favorite stars. She saved 3 for Annie with Bionic Woman, Charlie's Angels, and the Partridge Family because she was always talking about those TV shows. A short distance from her was a woman who appeared to be her own age, and she was setting up a vending table and display case filled with goodies. The woman waved to her with a warm, welcoming smile, a smile which reminded Tanty Mona of a very dear friend. Remember, there was a friend who she had lost, who died, you see? So Louise Gill, this story was called Sweet Hand by Vashti Bowler.
Yeah. So the lady who waved is not the same one who...
No, it's a new vendor.
A new vendor.
Right.
Well, it's too bad
Yeah.
what jealousy can do.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah. You know, when you think of, because she's doing better than you went to the lengths to cause her so much hurt.
Of course, but...
I mean, to think that this woman feeling badly that if something happened to this child because of what she made.
That's right.
The sleepless nights she would have had.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Very sad. They really say jealousy is not a good thing.
No. So you had press in your days doing school? This is a press. Remember
Yes.
press? And we're talking about old time things. Press.
Yes, we just Miss Gracie used to sell press.
Miss Gracie.
When you see you go recess time by Miss Gracie, yeah, man, penny for a pressing. And Miss Gracie go,
Yes.
This sort of
and,
like
and a shaver.
a shaver
Yeah.
made out of what, like aluminum or
A kind of metallic thing.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she have a little cup about that height, and she press it and she press it in. Then she do an next one. Big block of ice, you know.
That's how they used to come in the big blocks.
And she shake up the cup and sit down.
And how much is selling that for?
Penny.
Okay. And both sides they put in
And one
syrup?
side is pineapple syrup, yellow.
Yeah.
She dip it so. When you see she bring it up so. Oh gosh, your mouth water. You dribble before you even taste it, eh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Then she dip it and go over the red syrup.
Yes.
Boy, lad, see when you see you eating that, you're looking all on the phone. What? Press, boy? I could press one into my mouth right now.
Yes, 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 yes.
But anyway, we have some good
Yes.
homemade Wanaman fry bake, kingfish fried, and look at that cocoa, boy, the chocolate. Look at the grease on top of it. Just as when we were children.
Yes. And it's a nice rainy evening there. A nice rainy evening.
So yeah, man. So we could sit and eat and chat, sip and chat, talk.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm trying a little thing like how Mr. Sanders do it, eh? You know how it'll come out. Flip camera. Flip camera. Thank you very much, folks, for being here with us, for listening.
And what are we going to talk about?
No, we're going to not talk again, please, because we have some.
A lot already there.
Yes, 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 of course. So
All
thanks
right.
again. It's a lovely evening. It's just, you know, just you
Mr.
right.
Sada not here with us.
Okay, Mr. Sana is out for a while.
So we miss him. But we go eat 2 weeks instead.
So, folks, thank you very much. That was I read from Potbake Productions, Jewels of the Caribbean.
And
That was
they
done in
are-
2014.
You can have them on sale.
Yes, you can. You could come by and get a copy. You know, it doesn't cost much. Or if you're lucky, we would just give it to you. If you're lucky, you might just give it to you. Be brave, right? So, folks, once again, thank you very much and have a good weekend. All the best.